Aloha, my name is Tia Quinn and I'm an astrologer here in Washington State, and I grew up also on the Big Island of Hawaii, and so both of those places are my home. I came out here near Mount St. Helens, which is about an hour and a half from my land, to get some perspective and some peace and tranquility out in nature. It's been a very tumultuous week since I came forward with my allegations against Kaypacha, and a couple other women have, and his colleagues, both Tim and Christina Claudil, came forward denouncing his misuse and abuse of power as both a teacher and a well-known astrologer in our community. And I really want to talk today about, some of the things that have been said over the course of the week since coming forward with my story, and some of the really interesting discussions that has sparked, and try to move forward another step in the direction of finding some healing solutions to all of this. Also, I've put forward that I would like for a Ho'oponopono to happen, and I'm going to explain, my understanding of what a Ho'oponopono is, because because it's a popular idea in spiritual communities, I don't think that it's been explained, properly or understood properly. And yeah, I heard that there's a beautiful waterfall somewhere up here. I'm way, way, way up this dirt road. I kind of, pulled a Uranus today. I have Uranus opposing Pluto and my Mercury and Sun, and I know Kaypacha has Uranus squaring his, and we're both getting rocked by this. This is one of my dearest and closest friends. It was a teacher that I explored the world with, and I explored astrology with, and I really have deep love for Kaypacha, and I hope that he can find healing through all of this. But today I was going to go to a place that I knew. I was going to go to a lake right down the road, and I said, fuck that. I'm gonna jam some tunes. I've been listening to the Beastie Boys and rocking out and drinking my coffee. And I decided I'm just gonna keep going. I'm gonna do the Uranus thing, and I'm gonna see what unknown place my vehicle will take me. And I drove and drove and drove and drove, and I passed all kinds of turnoffs and parks that I could have gone to. And I kept driving, and then I got to a space where I felt really uncomfortable not knowing where I was going. I didn't, I wanted to look at a map. I wanted to grab my cell phone or pull over or get some GPS going to somewhere that was known. And the further I got away from where it was known to me, the more uncomfortable I got. And I decided to, I'm going to sit with being uncomfortable and not knowing where I'm going, and not knowing, what the future holds. And I feel like, that transit is, been really powerful for me right now. It's been really transformative. Where am I going to go? Where is Kaypacha going to go from there? Where is astrology going to go? And it's like, I kept going, and, I'm, currently looking at some of the most gorgeous views up this beautiful mountain. No one's here. There's just a beautiful, an unknown waterfall I'm heading to now. And, it doesn't need to be a negative thing. This is not a crucifixion. This isn't a stoning of someone or any of those old school outdated and patriarchal ideas. This is not what's being called for. Calling out, my friend, calling out my teacher, calling out an astrologer that's, deviated from the path. The intention is that this isn't happening. This misuse of power isn't going to continue happening, and that a change happens and there's an embracing of the unknown. And it's like, you can't keep doing the same shit over and over and over again and expect different results. And, Kaypacha, you've been doing, you've been having this behavior. It's a pattern of behavior. And I invite you to take a new path, step into the unknown, even if it's, it's scary to admit that you were wrong. It's scary to apologize. It's scary to feel that you might be losing that community that you've built, but the community is going to appreciate, someone that is going to step in, represent that role of leadership that you have to so many people, and, wake the fuck up, wake up, take a new path, embrace the unknown. It's going to be scary to go out there and apologize. It's going to be scary to choose a new name for yourself. It's going to be scary, to admit to your fans that you have, in ways deceived them. And so, I invite you to do that for yourself and for your own healing and journey. Because, the square is going to be a really rocky road for you. If you don't start, your own journey into the unknown. Car's coming. Aloha, my name is Tia Quinn, and I'm an astrologer, like I said, from Washington and Hawaii. And this is part 2 to my address to Kaypacha and the New Paradigm Astrology community. And today I would like to respond to a lot that has been said since allegations came out against Kaypacha and the abuse of his power as a teacher and a leader in the astrological community and in some ways the spiritual community. Since this has occurred, a lot has been discussed online. I've received a lot of personal support, and I want to thank anyone that has reached out to me that we may have met at one of the workshops or a retreat or a conference somewhere. But your words are really meaningful to me, and I really appreciate the heartfelt reaching out I've received from some of you. So thank you very much. I'd also like to say thank you for the women that organized the town hall meeting for the astrological community to start setting some standards, ethical standards in place, so that things like this aren't happening any longer. And that's a really positive beginning to the conversation of some of the changes that do need to be made. I've also received a lot of lashing out from followers of Kaypacha and New Paradigm community members. And, I'd like to say to the women out there that are saying, oh, 27 isn't young. She's not young. She knew what she was doing. I'd like to pose this question to astrologers. If 27 is mature, what is the entire point of, describing the Saturn return as this coming into maturity. You have yet to reach this state where you are in your own power and you're just stepping into it. And, you know, it was a really important time for me, meeting my teacher and traveling. I have Saturn in Sagittarius, and so does Kaypacha. And so we were both having our Saturn returns at the same time. And, you know, the way I interpreted that is like, here is an elder that, you know, I loved and respected, and I wanted to learn everything that he had to offer, you know. And so, you know, of course, I enjoyed my trips, and I enjoyed spending time with Kaypacha, and I enjoyed learning astrology with Kaypacha. And the astrology, you know, the different scenarios that I encountered in my travels were a great learning experience, and I will forever cherish that. However, in this passing down of knowledge, you know, it got confused with a man's personal desires. And, you know, where I wanted lessons from him, you know, he confused his sexual desires with that, because I am an attractive young woman, and, you know, he likes attractive young women. And so I feel like, you know, in some ways, his astrological practice has been, you know, to attract women. A majority of his workshops, like I said previously, are mainly women. And like I said, women that are coming out of vulnerable situations normally, and aren't really in a state of mind to be as discerning as one normally would if they had not just come out of a vulnerable time. And so, you know, what was I going to say? Yeah, a 27-year-old, you know, I'm 32. I'm about to be 33 this fall. And a lot has happened since then, you know, since that Saturn return. There have been so many lessons that I've experienced in the past 5 years that have prepared me in life the way that I was not prepared before. And so, you know, I think it's a very critical moment, especially if you're entering a field of your choice. And I mean, for the Saturn return, you could choose to do anything. For me personally, it was that I wanted to be an astrologer, and I was serious about doing so. And so I pursued a teacher that I thought could, you know, pass the knowledge down, pass the torch through. And, you know, I was very attracted to Kaypacha's teachings and his charisma. And, you know, for a late 20s young lady, like, it was super exciting. It was much less boring than going to a conference and sitting there looking at a projector screen and someone with some suspenders, you know, la-di-da-da-da. You know, like, I want to be out in nature and do fun things. So, you know, it was a very interesting learning experience. However, you know, as I have came into my own maturity, and I am, you know, attempting to become my own astrologer and start my own practice. And, you know, I'm thinking about retreats that I want to hold myself, and, you know, students that are going to come to me. I would like, you know, by the time that I'm at my second Saturn return, that I am, you know, I'm still walking my talk. I'm not taking advantage of people that would seek that knowledge from me, and that I will be able to pass the torch down without burning people. And, you know, it's been really interesting listening to some of the things that Kaypacha has said. And I know he's been circulating this copy and pasted apology, which I do not consider apology. it's not directed to any of us personally that have called him out and asked him for an apology, and a sincere one. And it's just completely insincere to be copying and pasting something that is only meant to keep the remaining fans that you do have that are still lost in the delusion that is new paradigm. And it really is more like the old paradigm. And it's really funny that after this so-called apology came out, Kaypacha, he got on another astrologer's post, and he called us seductresses, seeming victims and seductresses out to abuse men. And that is probably the most biblically crazy old school shit I've fucking heard in a long time. And I grew up with like a Jehovah's Witness dad who's Nazarite Rasta and crazy himself and super religious. And he says all kinds of patriarchal shit like that. But to come from, my teacher that I really loved and respected, and, I poured my heart and soul into my studies. I read every fucking day for years, my books, and I did my best to study with you. And for you to go out there and, try to place the blame on women and for your, perverse desires, and why you acted on them, I could be naked right now, and no man should come up to me and think that he has the right to approach me in a sexual manner because of that nudity. It's an outdated way of thinking. There are also women online, older women, usually older white women. These are the Pluto and Leo, Pluto and Virgo generation, which is naturally square to my Pluto and Scorpio, and, the Pluto and Sagittarius generations. And, there's some tension there, because where we are speaking up, we are willing to look into the shadow, we are willing to speak to the darkness that we see everywhere in the world. A lot of you women have not, and I'm not going to generalize and say all, but I'm speaking to the women who are out there agreeing with this viewpoint, agreeing that, they were asking for it, agreeing that we might have seduced this poor old man, 31 years my senior, and even older than Lauren, because she is, just coming out of her Saturn return. And older than Haley, much older than Haley, who I think is, at the time of their encounter was only 24 years old. So how are you going to say this man who has so much more life experience? I'm not going to say that he is making wiser choices or is, more powerful than us. A lot of women are confused with me saying that this man is a man of power, but he is, and he's misusing it. And that does not negate that I have my own power, and I'm not giving away my power. And I stopped giving my power away to this particular man years ago. I have just not spoken about it because it was not the time. And so to women out there saying, this happened to me all the time, that's how it is. What are you even grumbling about? Get over it. That was like how it was in the 70s. It's free love, whatever. Well, no, it's not fucking whatever anymore. It's fucking 2020, bitch. It's fucking 2020, okay? And in those 50 years from your little free love fucking free-for-all where you just got to do whatever you fucking wanted to women, it's not the time anymore. And it's not going to be the time ever again. And, that viewpoint needs to be done. It needs to be over. That viewpoint is outdated. It's fucked up. And it's why women like me entering the astrology field, women just being born into the world in general. It's, it's that viewpoint that perpetuates and continues the abuse. And, I'm really grateful, and I want to shout out to my grandmother because she was abused for 35 years, and she told me, she was really proud of me for doing my video and speaking out. And she didn't shame me about it. She didn't look through my blog and say, oh, yeah, that's vulgar. Oh, this girl, she's a slut. Me, Lauren, this other girl, we've been called drug addicts, prostitutes, any kind of name from these so-called spiritual people following this so-called spiritual leader. And that is disgusting. It's fucking 2020. Enough with this patriarchal bullshit. And I'm fucking tired of it. And it needs to stop. And it really, for someone who talks about the goddess in the way that Kaypacha talks about the goddess, you really ought to have a lot more respect for women. And, you have to have more respect for the people who are willing to learn from you. I was willing to learn from you, and I went the fucking distance. I'd be on a fucking plane for 27 hours and make it for fucking dinner in time and just be like, yo, let's do some fucking astrology. What? I gave you your Sabian symbol book, dude. You know how hard that is to fucking find? I have a cooler copy now, though, so whatever. But, it really hurts my feelings to see how nonchalant Kaypacha is taking these allegations, and, that he thinks that he can just blow them off. And that he thinks that by sarcastically changing his name of his report to the Lemon Report or the Bat Report, but still mentioning Pele's name in the course of the report is anywhere near acceptable. Pele isn't having it, dude. I've already fucking told you. I've already told you, I would like for Kaypacha to acknowledge what, we've given him actionable steps, and the actions he has taken is to further slander us, call us seductresses, play the victim, play this weird Jesus character, and I'm really tired of you crazy ass bitches out there comparing Kaypacha to Jesus and saying, oh, you're crucifying him. Oh, no, you're asking for blood. I'm asking for a fucking sincere apology, okay? Blood? Fuck no. That's disgusting. Real goddesses ask for fucking respect. I don't need to crucify anyone. That's old school, old paradigm thinking. Jesus has nothing to do with Kaypacha and the way that he's been behaving. Jesus doesn't go, Jesus didn't go around treating prostitutes like shit, even if we were prostitutes, which we aren't. But, even if we were, would Jesus fucking treat prostitutes like that? No, he was straight kicking it with the bitches. They have a tough job. Sucks. I'd like to say, yeah, to those women, those times are over, and to Kaypacha, those times are over, where you can just free love your ass around from couch to couch all over the world, banging all of your students and getting money from them and taking money from them and taking advantage of their trust in you as a leader. It's fucking over. And, I'm so glad to see that there are people out there taking this seriously, that, hopefully, and there is some kind of governing body that gets made out of this as we're stepping in to this age of Aquarius, where community is heard as a whole. And I think I said earlier in my introduction up at the Mountain View, that I think people have they're saying crucify him. Oh, you're stoning him. Oh, you're hurting Kaypacha by doing this. How dare you? Ho'oponopono to me, as a Puna girl growing up in Puna, it's like if there is some wrong action that has happened in the community, there's someone that has committed some kind of, I won't say crime, but, something has happened that is not in alignment. You're supposed to get together we're supposed to circle up as a fucking community, okay? And right now, it's a circling up. Kaypacha mentioned Eris in his Lemon report and how she's the goddess of discord. And, why have discord? This dark feminine is nefarious and this and that. Discord can bring great positive change. And in this moment, there's discord in the astrological community, and it's okay for there to be discord, and it's okay for us to sit in this moment together and to sit in this storm. And we need, ho'oponopono to me is that every single one of us in the community that cares about the astrological community and cares about this wound being healed, this Mars and Chiron rune, we need to take action to heal this wound. And we need to circle up to heal this wound, and we need to look at it and look at this problem of, imbalances of power between teacher and student and, the misuse of power and how we can prevent that from happening. And we need to look at how we can welcome new astrologers into the community with open arms instead of, having them be swooped up, by the wrong person, by the wrong teacher, in their budding moment, in that critical moment of learning, getting swooped up when they could be guided, by someone with integrity. And I ask all of you to have integrity and step up and join the circle, including you, Kaypacha, especially you, Kaypacha, and anyone else who's been out there abusing their students' trust and misusing their power. I give you this opportunity to join us in the circle. Join us for this healing moment for our community so we can step forward in a more sacred and positive manner. We can stop blaming women for their experiences, and we can help lift each other up. Help there be more astrologers in the world. I don't want to hear stories like Lauren's where she was all psyched up and excited to do astrology, and then she encounters someone like you, Kaypacha, and then she just quits. I don't want to hear shit like that anymore. That time is done. And so, I'm wishing healing for the community. I'm wishing healing for you, Kaypacha. Sabbatical is not the way out. Going on vacation, when you've been on vacation, you've been sleeping, you've been the ringleader of the dream team, sleeping. The time for sleeping is done. Uranus squaring your sun, it says, wake the fuck up. Wake the fuck up. Join the circle. Join the community. And let's envision a different future, a different path that is more in integrity and in your center, in my center, the community coming together in a center and doing something positive for all of us. Thank you and mahalo. I had other things to say, but I think this is a good place to stop and we can continue this conversation. And, please step into the light, Kaypacha, and stop hiding, Stop deleting comments that you don't like, Have a conversation with people that don't agree with you. Because When you stop having conversations with people that challenge your perspective, that's the moment you stop learning. And, you no longer can call yourself a teacher the moment that you stop learning. Mahalo.